Hey, y'all. So I thought I would give a little bit of feedback or some comments based on class today, since I didn't have time at the end of class to do that. So I first wanted to just recap the objectives that we covered. And I really think probably the way to describe this is actually we covered actually three objectives, whether you know it or not. So for example, we covered two different objectives that were found in the control of microbial growth. We talked about strategies to exploit a microbe's metabolism. In particular, really what we talked about today were some of the degerming methods. We talked about the use of antimicrobials such as triclosan, which again is a bisphenol. And we also talked today about an example. If you'll remember the good, better, best question that we did, we talked about using soaps versus alcohol-based hand rubs in controlling growth. And this fit very well then with the second objective that's listed here, analyzing that data to evaluate the effectiveness. That's really what we've focused on for the past couple of class periods, and do expect that it will make an appearance on the exam in some way, shape, or form. Finally, in class today, we talked about some different antibiotics. We began to talk about terms like spectrum, whether the antibiotic is broad or narrow based on the range of bacteria that it infects. We'll talk more about therapeutic index in the next class period, and we began to talk about molecular targets. One of the things that I will hold you responsible for, as I mentioned, are those different classes of antibiotics that we covered and that we will continue to cover on Wednesday. I'm also going to hold you responsible for knowing the protein targets of most of them, as well as the process that's inhibited. I'm not going to hold you responsible for knowing the spectrum of each of them, but will expect you to be able to make decisions about antibiotics given the context of the problem and the spectrum of the antibiotic. And we'll spend more time with that in class on Wednesday and Friday. We'll also spend some more time on Wednesday talking about how do we measure the effectiveness of an antibiotic, and we'll spend more time with therapeutic index as well. Now, to look ahead, there are a few things that are coming up this week that I want to remind you of. So the first is that please, if you have not yet, complete the survey for Lab 13. I put this in the announcements, I believe yesterday, with a link. Please do complete them before you come to lab either Tuesday, for those of you on the Tuesday-Thursday schedule, or on Wednesday for those of you on the Wednesday-Friday schedule. A reminder also that your final unknown video is due to me at the beginning of your lab time on Thursday or Friday. Ways that you can submit this: there are drop boxes available on Blackboard for those of you that maybe have not used VoiceThread. If you have used VoiceThread, you can submit the assignment to me. Alternatively, you can share the VoiceThread with me, and both of those are acceptable ways for you to get me your video. It's going to take me a little bit of time to grade these, as this is also an exam week, so bear with me as I work through them, but promise to do my very best to get them done as soon as possible. Finally, last couple of things pertaining to exams. We will do a review on Thursday outside of class time. Again, I've put up a survey for that one, just a little doodle poll. I will do my best to meet the time for the majority of the individuals, but do remember that I've also included an announcement on Blackboard of additional times that I'm available throughout the week. And I also will be willing to answer emails over the weekend if you have any questions, and may propose other ways to meet too if need be. Finally, use your resources that you have available for the exam. Again, just a reminder that there are 2 practice exams up on Blackboard under the Unit 2 material. One of them has a full key with it. The other one does not, so that one should really be kind of the last one that you use to practice how well you understand the information. I've also included a list of all the objectives, and we'll cover these again in class on Wednesday. And don't forget all the review problems that are available to you as well. So please do use those resources. With that, I bid you adieu. Have a great Monday evening, and I will see you all in the next couple of days. Tricked ya. Actually, in all honesty, I forgot to mention one last thing. Your homework for Wednesday is a quote-unquote quiz on Blackboard. It is not for a grade, it is for completion. Do take the time to go through it though, because the techniques that are in there are ones that we will spend considerable amount of time with on Wednesday and are important to understanding how we measure the effectiveness of antibiotics. You may revisit it as frequently as you would like to, but I will only be grading upon your completion of it. All right, now this time's for real. Take care.